Welcome, sports fans, to the Shoot Your Thought podcast with your hosts, Josh Sanger and Neil Rempersod.
Hello and welcome to the Shoot Your Thought podcast, the Friday edition, because TGIF, TGISYT. Thank God it's Shoot Your Thought. Am I right, Neil?
Thank God it is. Black Friday edition of Shoot Your Thought
It is
podcast.
Black Friday. Did you do any Black Friday shopping?
Absolutely not.
No?
No, I'm not a big Black Friday, go to the mall type.
Well, I mean, it's not really a Canadian
No,
thing, right?
I don't know about you, but I get hyped in these malls. I will literally throw some elbows.
Oh
if
yeah,
someone gets,
absolutely.
Because it's a different type of people that go to malls on these discount days, like
Yeah.
Boxing Day.
They're the kind of
Black
people that
Friday or
only
Cyber
go
Monday.
on these like discount days.
Yeah, and they're not good people.
No,
they're
absolutely.
only there to
Most
get
of
their
the people-
discounts,
Yeah.
to find their sizes or whatever it is they're purchasing, line up beforehand for hours on end
Yeah.
to get into Best Buy to buy
Oh,
a
yeah.
4 megabyte memory stick.
That was 4 megabyte
Yeah.
memory sticks are really
Yeah.
flying off the shelves.
There.
No,
On
it's
Friday.
have you been to the Eaton Center and seen the lineup for the Apple Store now that they're only allowing like a certain amount of people? Because you would go back past the Apple Store and there would be like hundreds of people in there, right? Now they have a capacity, so they have to bring that group of people into a line in the Eaton Center. It takes up most of the hallway. So I was planning on doing some Christmas shopping at the Apple Store, but
Yeah,
I don't know if I want to wait 45 minutes to get in.
that's true. Well, big shout out to anyone who is working
Oh,
in retail today.
Absolutely.
You guys have a tough day ahead of you, so kudos to you for getting
Hey,
through it.
be nice to your retail workers. Don't be an asshole. Don't be that person that goes in on Black Friday or Black Friday weekend, whatever you want to call it, and gets mad that the lineup's taking too long, or gets mad that there's no one around to help you in the first 30 seconds. Like, just calm your tits, okay? Just don't be an asshole.
Calm down.
Calm down. If you've never worked in retail, just trust me. Fucking sucks. Anyway, should we get into our show, Neil?
Let's get into it.
All right, we're gonna talk Manchester United. There's a bunch of stuff that we haven't talked about yet so far this season about Manchester United that we need to talk about. We're gonna talk the WWE match, LeBron versus Isaiah Stewart, that happened this past week. We're gonna talk the Vancouver Canucks because we need to add in a little comic relief in here. We're gonna talk Leon Draisaitl, and then we're gonna talk the American Thanksgiving NFL games. Some were amazing, some were not so amazing.
Snooze fests, yeah.
But yeah, we'll get into that. Should we start off with some Manchester United talk?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I can never say his freaking name right. It's my team.
Solskjaer.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Solskjaer.
He played.
Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, seriously. He I watched him play in everything, and I was contemplating getting his jersey so that I could see his name more often. But he was let go from the team this past week. After the loss to Watford, apparently that was the straw that broke the camel's back, and they let him go. So now they're operating under Michael Carrick, who is the, I guess, interim general manager before the new interim manager comes
The
in.
interim.
The interim.
Manager.
So, I don't know about you, but I have a theory about Manchester United. And that is that the acquisition of Cristiano Ronaldo did not make the team better. It made the team flashier. I'll give you that. They're a flashier team all around. They score those late goals. They score those passionate goals, but it did not make them better. Cavani was scoring those goals before, the same amount of goals. He was getting them done, but now that Ronaldo's there, he commands the ball. All the passes have to go to him. They paid how much money for him, so the passes have to go his way, or else those players will get shunned by the rest of the team and the management. And he can't always finish like he did in his prime. I think Cavani was fine because he wasn't commanding the ball. He was passing the ball. Ronaldo doesn't really pass the ball. He takes shots that he shouldn't. And I just think all around they were a better team without Ronaldo.
So you're telling me the greatest of all time did not make this team better?
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Do you think it has anything to do with his commercial?
You're going to go back to the massage gun commercial?
Do you think that was a downfall of Cristiano Ronaldo and this entire club?
I think it sexually confused a lot of the players on the team, and maybe they were nervous playing on the pitch, playing for Manchester United. Maybe they felt like he was beyond human, so they had to give him the ball. You know what I mean? But no, I don't think Ronaldo makes this team better. I just don't. And when you lose to Watford the way you did, I don't know. And we're all congratulating Manchester United right now because of the success they're having in the Champions League. But the group that they're in the Champions League, they should be winning that group anyways. Villarreal, Young Boys, they should be winning that group no problem. And we're not even winning it no problem. We're winning it in the final stages. We're getting last minute goals scored by Ronaldo.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
very dramatic fashion.
And Solskjaer, I love him to death. He will always be a legend. I don't know if you saw his exit interview with them, but he got emotional in it. This was after they let him go. They allowed him to, they interviewed him. He had nothing but good things to say. He loves Michael Carrick, the person who's the coach is taking over for him. And he started crying. He started getting emotional when he talked about how good the team is in the hands of how much he trusts the team in the hands of Michael Carrick.
Right.
So he's still a legend.
Do you think they're in good shape now that renowned bench boss Rangnick coming over from the Bundesliga?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they're in a good position now with this interim signing of him?
I think they are. I think they would have been wrongly done if they went after a big name manager, like a Zidane or an Ancelotti or anyone that's a bigger name.
There are heavy rumors about Zidane.
I think they just need to take a coach that knows what they're doing but hasn't been put under the spotlight of the world stage at the capacity of a Manchester United level, Manchester City and Chelsea. They haven't had success at the management level since Sir Alex Ferguson left. They just haven't. The closest, they won the Europa League with Mourinho, but that was the closest they came to it. They haven't really tasted success in the form of Premier League championship or even Champions League championship since Sir Alex left. And everyone knew there was going to be a Sir Alex hangover after he left. We were going to take time to get back to that level of Sir Alex, but immediately after Sir Alex left and David Moyes took over, we became a terrible team. We haven't gotten back to that level since. We're now Manchester United is kind of the butt end of Premier League jokes. We started this season off even pretty good. Mm-hmm. Then what happened? We went out and got Ronaldo.
I don't know. The United fans have been calling for this for some time, to bring in someone like Rangnick, someone who's respected. He's a respected project builder in the game, right? He's done so at Lokomotiv Moscow. He's done so with RB Leipzig, with their charge to the top of the Bundesliga. He's well renowned. He's even inspired guys like Jurgen Klopp or Thomas Tuchel. His coaching style is very renowned. The way he goes about it, the way he demands effort from his players.
Yeah, he's very much. I compare him to Claudio Ranieri when he was in charge of Leicester, and he brought them to the top of the Premier League. He brought them to glory in Leicester.
Unbelievable.
He brought them to absolutely nothing, and now every time you talk, Champions League qualification or Europa qualification, Leicester is part of that conversation. Mm-hmm. They came from the Championship. They came from League Two.
Yeah.
And now they're in Europa League and Champions League talks every single year because of Claudio Ranieri. I still think Claudio Ranieri was done so poorly. They fired him the next season after he won the championship, which was just ridiculous. But I compare him to Claudio Ranieri. He took a team from absolutely nothing to glory, to Champions League glory, to Premier League glory, to Bundesliga glory. So I have high hopes for this. I think Manchester United is a big team, and we need someone that has success. But like I was saying before, I don't think we need someone who's already a world-renowned coach. I think we need someone who's going to come in and has their own tactics, has their own strategies, and is willing to apply them to Manchester United. So
For sure.
I'm excited to see what this team has.
Oh, we're gonna see this weekend what they have.
Yeah, they're facing Chelsea this weekend.
It's a
gonna be
big
one.
matchup.
It's going to be a big one. I'm interested to see if Michael Carrick's going to be in charge or if they're going to have their new coach by then.
Might be phased in. I think it'll still be Carrick's show, but
Yeah.
we might see a little bit of him on the sidelines.
Because they won't even have time to work out with this coach, to have practices with this coach at all. Yeah. So we'll see. Should we talk some WWE/NBA?
We're talking about LeBron James. LeBron James has been in the news many times this week.
I don't know what's up with LeBron this season. I don't know.
He's been in the news. Did you see the game against the Pacers? His first game back after his 1-game suspension. What happened in that game? Before we get to that, let's talk about the incident that happened.
Yeah, let's talk about.
3 games ago from the Lakers. It was on Sunday night, where the Lakers were facing off against the Detroit Pistons with Kate Cunningham and co. And there was a foul shot being taken, and Isaiah Stewart, not the
comes up from the ground.
Isaiah Stewart, 20-year-old, might I add, 20-year-old Isaiah Stewart was lined up beside LeBron James, not in the center position that he should have been lined up, but in the power forward or forward position that normally smaller guys line up alongside LeBron James. Sure enough, LeBron James got tangled up with him. LeBron James had a closed fist and had a turnaround kind of MMA style.
It was a
punch
hammer
to the
fist.
mouth. It was a backwards hammer fist to the mouth.
It wasn't even like he tried to say that it was a turning motion. No. He turned and then extended his fist. We've
Just
all
look
seen
at his
the replay.
facial expression when it happened too. It was a little bit of frustration taken out by LeBron. It looked like there was malice involved. Regardless, Stewart was injured by the play. Stewart was bleeding from what looked like the eye
His
area.
face was covered in blood.
He was bleeding from the mouth. The hammer fist from the GOAT himself
Ugh.
is a hell of a hammer fist.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
What happened after this is what caught the news. The hammer fist itself, whatever, call it a flagrant 2, eject LeBron. What happened after is something that should never happen in a game. Isaiah Stewart, in football terms, he ran over 5 to 10 defenders to get to the end zone for a touchdown. I've never seen a guy stampede over grown-ass basketball players in security like the way a 20-year-old Isaiah Stewart.
I mean, Isaiah Stewart's a big dude as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that he was
The
capable of that.
Washington football team could use a guy like that.
Like Isaiah Stewart, yeah.
The New York Giants could use a guy.
The New York Giants could use a lot. The New York Giants could use a lot. But I don't know what set him off. I don't think we will ever find out what specifically set him off, but something was said by either DeAndre Jordan or LeBron or Westbrook, because they were all in the vicinity. But
I think what set him off was a taste of his own blood. I think just tasting his own blood, seeing that there was blood dripping down his face. As
this
a
was
20-year-old,
after.
do you remember being 20 and getting into a fight? I do.
Yeah.
You see red. Unfortunately for Isaiah Stewart, sorry, I keep thinking it's the...
Isaiah Thomas versus LeBron would be a very funny fight.
Isaiah Stewart,
Yeah.
20-year-old, he didn't give a fuck at that point.
Yeah.
All he wanted to do was get even with LeBron James.
But he wasn't really going after LeBron though, was he?
He was.
He was going after DeAndre.
No, he was running after LeBron James. He ran after he got into the tunnel. LeBron had been ejected at this point. LeBron James
And
had already
he ran-
taken his way into the tunnel.
he ran into the tunnel thinking he was going to meet up with him.
After Isaiah Stewart saw that LeBron had removed himself from the court, he started running down the tunnel. That's how I knew he was going after LeBron.
Yeah, fair.
So what ended up happening from this game was both were assessed 2 technical fouls. James was assessed a flagrant foul 2. Both players were ejected. Ultimately, Isaiah Stewart was suspended for 2 games, and LeBron 1.
So where do you think the 2-game suspension came from?
Do you think that's enough? For both players.
The way
or too much at that point.
So I think the 2-game suspension to Isaiah Stewart came from him injuring staff members. I think that's what came from this. I think him pushing down staff members of the Detroit Pistons and the LA Lakers. I think that's what warranted the suspension. Causing a scene like that. I think LeBron probably should have gotten 2 games as well, but the thing about the NBA is that they understand how much money they would lose if they gave LeBron a 2-game suspension, as compared to the 1-game suspension. They know that people tune in to NBA games to watch LeBron play. They know that they go to NBA games to watch LeBron play, and if they're not going to have that, they're going to suffer financially. And God forbid the NBA suffers financially. So that's the reason why I think we saw 1-game suspension instead of a 2-game suspension. Same thing would happen with Connor McDavid in the NHL, Alvin Kamara, let's say, in the NFL. Like, this is all situational.
Isaiah Stewart received 9 stitches on his eyebrow. 9 stitches.
For an unintentional hit to the face.
Dwayne Casey, former Raptors coach, now coach of the Detroit Pistons, he said Isaiah is nowhere near what you saw in that video. I think if you put 9 men in that same situation, they probably would have reacted, whether it be right, wrong, or indifferent, they would have reacted in the same manner. Maybe not as extended as Isaiah took it, which is unfortunate, but they would react similar. And I feel like that's really important. When your coach is saying, hey, the nature of this individual isn't violent.
Yeah.
He's not a violent individual. I think, the 2 games is just. It says, hey, there's no fucking room for that type of behavior with worldwide, with fucking kids watching, and I hope they're watching, I swear, on this show as well, with fucking kids watching around the world, and for you to act that way, you're idols to everyone watching. You know what I mean? You have to be a professional. You're paid to be a professional in this game. You're paid millions of dollars to act a certain way.
Same thing.
Act a professional way. So he hammer-fisted the guy.
Oh man,
it wasn't intentional. I don't think.
You don't think that was intentional?
I don't think he meant to.
Are you being serious?
I don't think he meant to.
Actually don't think that was
I don't think he meant to hit Isaiah Stewart in the face.
He meant to break his face open, but he meant to hit him in the face, I think.
Listen, LeBron James is one of the toughest players in the league.
And he's also one of the strongest,
toughest players. He doesn't even know his own strength.
Yeah.
He's still dunking at 37 years old.
Yeah. He put down 39 points the other night. Of course he's going to throw out some dunks here and there.
If LeBron was to punch me in the face, his fist would go through my face.
Yeah. He would, yeah.
I would have a donut face.
Mm-hmm.
Big hole up in my face right here.
Like a
if he punched
full-on
me in the face.
Frosty the Snowman type thing. Absolutely. Yeah, but the most interesting part of this is that they play each other again on Sunday. The LA Lakers and the Detroit Pistons.
Do they?
They do.
This Sunday?
Mm-hmm. And they both will be back.
That's amazing. I think that they're going to shake it out. Like,
I think there's definitely gonna be some animosity.
You think so?
Isaiah Stewart's coming back with this 9 stitches still in his face. There's gonna be some
Isaiah
animosity.
Stewart did say that he feels remorse for the way he acted after.
For knocking down the staff members. Sure.
Yeah, those staff members, man. Someone needs to create, like, In the Arms of an Angel video for those staff members, because they were just getting manhandled.
Yeah, thrown down to the floor.
Like, they're...
These people are not athletes. They're not, prepped for falling down at that level. Like, they probably seriously injured themselves. And Neil's over here laughing. Yeah. It was funny when they put.
It is. I mean, it's not funny. I shouldn't be laughing, but
No.
it is still funny watching someone try to hold this guy back. Even Cade Cunningham couldn't hold him back.
Well, Cade Cunningham was kind of.
Players on the Detroit team couldn't hold him back.
Yeah.
You know, so
The thing is, if you I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a video of that whole incident where they put Stone Cold's music over top of it. I'll show you it later. But, it's basically Jim Ross saying, I think we're about to see a fight up in here. And then, oh my God, it's Stone Cold! And he's just plowing through people. And that's what I think about when I see this.
you gotta send me that video.
I
We're gonna have to post that on our
100%. I don't know why we haven't already. 100% we're going to.
What we saw in LeBron James's return on when was it? On Wednesday night.
Mhm.
So he was suspended for one game. He returned on Wednesday night. We saw LeBron James at it once again, but this time with a fan. LeBron James.
Got them ejected.
Did you see the video of it?
I haven't seen the video, no.
So LeBron James walked a referee, held the referee's arm like this over to the fan, like he was snitching. He was snitching hard on the fans.
Of course.
Walked over. He's like, these two fans need to fucking get out of here. They're fucking gone. To the fans, to security, to the ref, to the fans. They weren't gonna continue playing until the fans left.
Of course.
Sure enough,
LeBron
two
decides
fans.
when they play or when they don't.
LeBron decides when the refs make calls or not.
But
LeBron decides a lot.
Did we find out why specifically they were thrown out?
So it's being said that, due to obscene language and obscene gestures by the fans, that's
Right.
why LeBron had them kicked out of the game. And what I mean by that is these so-called courtside Karens apparently they were, saying things like, LeBron, I hope you die in a car accident. LeBron, you're a fucking bitch. Like,
Really?
the guy kept saying, you bitch, LeBron. But he kept saying bitch over and over again. And, you get called bitch enough times, you're going to get kicked out of the game.
Yeah, but as a professional athlete, you kind of have to brush most of that off. It's when they start saying,
I feel like it was probably a little bit more obscene than that. LeBron was probably watering it down.
that's the thing.
LeBron James is going from court to court. He's going from home game to home game, city to city. He is not liked in a lot of cities.
Mhm.
He is not, and he has heard his fair share of taunting or trash talk by fans over the years. And this is the first time we've seen this happen. So it probably has to be something really ridiculously over the top, past a certain line for you to be kicked out.
Yeah, it has to have gone past that line.
And even Russ was over there saying, yeah, they need to fucking go.
Yeah, it's not the first time, too. LeBron has made that decision. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to this game on Sunday.
What's funny about after those fans got kicked out, it was 1 minute and 14 seconds left in overtime when they got kicked out. LeBron took the ball down the court twice and hit 2 deep threes to win the game. Don't fuck with LeBron James.
Don't poke the bear.
Don't poke the bear.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we move on now?
Yes.
Do you want to talk the Vancouver Canucks?
I don't really want to, but we need to.
Let's quickly talk about the Vancouver Canucks. So the Vancouver Canucks have lost 7 of their last 8 games now. It's just a tire fire over there. I don't know if you saw, they asked JT Miller a question recently. Did you see the video?
I did.
Where they basically said, what can this team improve on? And he said, I think this is a really dangerous team to play against when we all buy in. And then they can follow it up with, do you think everyone is buying in right now? And he just kind of paused. And
You
looked
didn't
at the
have an
ground
answer.
And just said, I don't know. Obviously, you're not buying into this team right now. This team is terrible. Nobody wants to be there. They have to fire everyone. They have to fire Jim Benning to start off with. There are literally chants at Vancouver Canucks games saying, fire Jim Benning, fire Jim Benning. So I don't know. These players obviously aren't buying in. If you have, Besser, Pettersson, even JT Miller on your fantasy team, Bo Horvat, you're suffering because these players are not playing well. I'm seeing these players, dropped in some leagues because they're just so bad right now. And
This
it's not
team,
just
this team has fallen off a cliff.
Yeah.
They had the best, I've talked to a lot of friends about this, they've had the best farm system over the last 5 years. They've had the best prospects. They've had the best minor league team. They've had you think guys like Pedersen, Quinn Hughes, Horvat, Besser, JT, like all these players that are coming up since we last saw the Sedin brothers leave, this team has been rebuilding to get to this stage, to now shit the bed and fall off a cliff. It's traumatizing. If you're a player on this team and you have no answers, like JT Miller did in that press conference, I honestly, if I had to predict, the GM of this team needs to shake things up. They've had 6 wins and 14 losses. They gotta make some trade. Whether it's a low level player or like a fourth liner, or even trading a backup goalie like Halak. They need to do something. They got to have some fresh faces in here because this locker room is toxic right now.
See, you talk about how the general manager needs to shake things up. I think the president needs to shake things up by firing the general manager. The general manager is Jim Benning.
Yeah.
So I think the players aren't buying in because I don't think there's an issue with Travis Green. I don't. I actually really like Travis Green. I loved him when he played for the Leafs. I loved him. I like him as a coach.
Yeah.
I think Jim Benning needs to go.
You know what's going to happen though? Is president and GM will fire the lower level individual first, like the head coach, in hopes that fixes things. And if that doesn't work, then it starts to trickle up.
But when your fans are going to games and chanting "Fire Benning, Fire Benning,"
you really think a GM's going to get fired before a head coach?
I think so. I think both at the same time.
Or maybe they just need a clean house.
Yeah.
The only way the Vancouver Canucks are going to make the playoffs this year is if they go on a ridiculous run.
I don't think this team
they're not
has
making
any
the playoffs
chance
this
of
year.
making the playoffs.
They're not.
This team just doesn't look good. It's not fun to watch Vancouver Canucks games. It's just not. It's just, I don't know. This team it's sad. It really is. I have a lot of friends that are Vancouver Canucks fans that live in Vancouver that are now cheering for the Seattle Kraken because they're very close to Vancouver. And why not? When the Mariners go over there and play the Blue Jays, you get a bunch of Blue Jays fans going to games. So why not have Vancouver Canucks fans in Seattle? You know what I mean?
My prediction is you're gonna see JT Miller get traded.
See, I don't think trading these players is the
I
answer.
think he's gonna get traded, especially after that press conference. Was it last night or 2 nights ago?
I think it was 2 nights ago.
Yeah, they've got to make a trade. They're gonna have to do something. We're a quarter of the way through the season and they have 6 wins, and they're just getting steamrolled by teams right now. And it has to start somewhere. So I'm gonna predict my thought on the Shoot Your Thought podcast,
Yeah,
or
what is
the
it?
boxing, or sorry, the Black Friday edition, is JT Miller
You're going to say
getting
boxing,
traded.
yeah, weren't you?
It's some sort of retail holiday today.
Yeah, I think my prediction is that Jim Benning and or Travis Green will be fired before the next time we shoot the next episode.
In a week.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Bold.
That's what I think. Should we move on to some happier news?
Yeah.
That was the Vancouver Canucks. We're going to talk about another Canadian team, the Edmonton Oilers.
Specifically, Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah.
He is doing something that we haven't seen done.
Is it 40 points in 19 games?
He has 40 points
40
in the first
points.
19 games.
In 19 games.
20 goals.
The
and
only
20
ever
assists.
player to hit that mark at this many games was Wayne Gretzky. The only other player to do it. He's having a historic season so far. I see that you wrote down in the doc here, has he surpassed McDavid as the best on the team? No, I'm going to shut that down right away.
You don't think he's, right now, better than McDavid on that
I
team?
don't think he will ever be better than McDavid. I don't think anyone in the NHL right now will be better than McDavid.
What is your reasoning behind it?
McDavid
Is it a
is...
personal opinion?
Point out any other player in the NHL that can walk through 4 players on the other team, and then the goalie, and then do it again a week later against a completely different team.
I wrote that down there just to get this out of you.
Just to get this reaction.
Yeah.
How can you ever say that anyone is better than Connor McDavid in the world right now? Connor McDavid is the best player. He's scored some I can't even speak properly. He's scored some goals that I've literally sat on my couch, watched maybe 50 times in a row, thinking, how is this humanly possible? When he scored that goal against, I believe it was the Rangers, where he walked past 4 of their players, just walked past them, like they weren't even there, and then scored top shelf on the goalie.
He certainly is skilled, but
Oh my God, certainly is skilled. Is putting it lightly.
Leon Draisaitl right now is playing better than Connor McDavid.
No, I don't think so.
For this team.
I don't think so.
Because you just mentioned individual play by Connor McDavid. Yeah, he went through 4 players to score this goal. Great.
Yeah. And then he scores 2 goals and 2 assists the other night.
Leon Draisaitl
is not better than Connor McDavid. I'll finish the sentence for you.
Is
Man.
a great player.
He is a great player.
For the Edmonton Oilers.
I will give you that.
If the MVP were to come out today, who would be the MVP? If you had to give it to a player.
Probably Leon Draisaitl right now.
And what does the MVP stand for?
Most valuable player that plays alongside of Connor McDavid. That's what the MVP race is.
I'm just saying, you have to give credit where credit's due. I'm not saying skill is better. I'm saying right now, playing the way Leon Draisaitl is playing, who's the number 1 ranked player in the league right now? You're in a fantasy league with me. Who's the number 1?
It's Leon Draisaitl.
He is on pace
Followed
right
shortly by Connor McDavid.
He's on pace to score He's on pace to score 87 goals this year. And that's through a quarter of the season. He is on pace to do 50 and 50. You know what? 50 and 50 doesn't even do Draisaitl justice. He's currently on pace to get number 50 in game number 48.
You think he's going to get 50 and 50?
He's on pace to do 50 and 48.
I know he's on pace to do it, but when does that ever mean he's going to do it?
He's going to do it.
You think he's going to get 50 and 50?
He's going to get 50 and 50.
Do you want to make a bet right now that he's not going to get 50 and 50? I kind of want to make a bet right now. Just like a $25,
let's do it.
Like a water bet. All right, I'll shake your hand. I'm betting that he's not going to get 50 and 50.
I'm saying he's going to get 50 and 50.
All right, so
that would make him the third
fastest
fastest.
$25 I've ever made.
I don't know.
Third fastest what?
Lemieux did it in 46.
Mm-hmm. Gretzky did it in 39.
Gretzky did it 3 times. He did it in 39, 42, and he did 50 and 50.
Yeah.
So I think, when McGillney came close to, there's obviously a lot of talented players that have come close, but in today's world where goals are not happening as much, goalies are better this year, padding is better, the ice is a lot faster. The game is much different today than it was in the Lemieux and Gretzky days. What he's doing right now, what this legend is doing right now, is unbelievable.
If you can make Connor McDavid look like the second best player on the team for certain games.
Mm-hmm. If they keep Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl together, he will get 50 and 50. You heard it. But my question is, I'm boasting about Leon Draisaitl's performance so far through a quarter of the season. Does it even matter how these players perform? Is this team even going anywhere? Are they a playoff team? Are they a Stanley Cup contender?
If this team fixes their goaltending, then yes. I think they have the offense. They have an okay defense. Darnell Nurse is now out for quite a bit, so that hurts them. But if they fix their goaltending situation, listen, Mike Smith, Koskinen are not it. They're just not it. That tandem is just not going to do it for you. They're not going to win you a Stanley Cup. They're not going to push you far into the playoffs. So I think if they figure out their goalie situation, then yes. They just signed Koskinen to like a 5-year deal though, didn't they? A 4 or 5 year deal?
I don't know. The Edmonton Oilers' Achilles heel has always been their goaltending. They've had solid defense. They've had solid forwards, as we've seen. Guys like Nugent Hopkins, Taylor Hall, they've had number 1 picks year after year after year after year after year. And they still cannot figure this out. And it has a lot to do with their goaltending and coaching. You know, if you have to bring out some names that could be available at the trade deadline for goalies, there's going to be goalies available. One guy that I'm looking at right now is Tristan Jarry on Pittsburgh.
He's not going to be available.
He's going to be available.
When
You
is he
know,
gonna be
there's
available?
a potential fire sale that will happen in Pittsburgh if they continue losing games.
Do you think they're going to blow it up and start a rebuild?
I think they
in
have
the
to.
middle of the season?
You know, the Canucks and the Penguins are two teams that I think that are going to blow it up this season.
I don't think they will. I don't think, as long as you have Crosby, you don't blow up a team. Tristan Jarry is playing out of his mind right now.
He is.
He is standing on his head for this team, and making save after save. And
He'd
making
look
them-
great in Edmonton.
He would.
Yeah.
He would also look great on Team Canada. Just saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this team does make the playoffs. I think them and that team from Toronto make the playoffs. Whether they go far is going to come down to if they can figure out their goalie situation, like you said. So we'll
All
see.
right. Well, we'll see what the Oilers do here. Should we move on to a little bit of football talk?
Absolutely. Some American Thanksgiving Day games that happened yesterday. The first one, nobody kind of really paid attention to. That was the, when your family is arriving, you can have that on in the background with the volume at 0.
12:30 p.m. start times. You're
Yeah, you can
not really paying attention to that game because they are trash.
get more drunk than usual, as the game's going on.
Hey, Matt Nagy lives to see another day coaching the Chicago Bears.
Did you see that would-be tackle on David Montgomery where they grabbed the back of his shirt and the back of his shirt stretched out 3 yards and he kept running?
Yeah.
That was ridiculous.
I saw the memes.
The
around
meme is
that.
going to live on. That meme is going to live on forever
Yeah.
because there's so much that you can put.
It was like Matt Nagy hanging on to his job.
Hanging on to his
The
job.
Detroit Lions head coaching position. And
Yeah.
it was perfect.
The Detroit Lions are now 0-9-1. Is it now?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Infamous tie.
This season has just proved that Jared Goff is a bad quarterback. And Matt Stafford was a much better quarterback than people
Also, the
led
Lions
to the league.
could have won that game.
Last night? The Lions could
The
have won.
Lions
a lot of games.
were lioning real hard.
Yeah.
The Lions called 2 timeouts back to back, which immediately results in a 5-yard penalty, which gave better field position to the Chicago Bears to achieve a first down, to get in field goal range, to win the game.
Mhm.
The Lions be lioning.
Do you remember the clip we played early on in the Shoot Your Thought season when it was Dan Campbell talking about how they're going to bite the team's kneecaps?
Yeah.
I have seen 0 kneecaps bitten by this team as this season has gone on.
I'm still just as confused as I was that day hearing that.
Why is anyone biting kneecaps? Why does that have to happen?
Has he been just, ingesting shrooms this entire
I
year?
think so.
Is he seeing things that we're not seeing?
Either that or he has one of those, the sniffing sticks where he just sniffs it. He's just like, all right, boys, let's bite some kneecaps.
Smelly
Right there."
salts. Smelly salts.
Smelly salts, yeah. I don't know what it is, but he has been he's been getting emotional in post-game interviews because I don't know, this is his first year as a head coach of the Detroit Lions, and it's not looking good for him. But anyone coming into this Detroit Lions team and attempting to coach it is going to have a tough time.
They're going to go winless.
You think so?
I think so. I think, with what we saw yesterday, the Bills looked good. The Bills should have won that game handedly without, any running game from the Saints. We don't need to talk about that too much, but the Bills looked like the Bills. Dallas just looked like a lot of confusion around that team. They came back to tie it up only to lose in overtime.
They have that explosive offense, especially with Tony Pollard, like with his 101-yard punt return for a touchdown. They have that explosive offense, but their defense, their offensive line just cannot figure it out. And that's exactly what kind of game we saw. It was an explosive offense game.
Yeah,
it was an exciting
They're
game.
missing their top 2 wideouts in
Yep.
CD Lamb and
Mari Cooper.
Mari Cooper. Mari Cooper is not vaccinated, so he might miss another week.
Mhm.
CD Lamb should be back next week once he clears concussion protocol. He almost played in this game, but he didn't get cleared in time.
He was questionable like right up until the start.
We thought he was going to get cleared because he was practicing all week.
Right.
But he will be back next week. So, are you worried about this Dallas team? Do you still think they're a top 5 contender to win the Super Bowl this year?
No, I don't think they're a top 5 contender. I think they're going to make the playoffs regardless because of the division they're in.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to go far in the playoffs. I think they're going to have more explosive games like this, and even going into not the wild card games, but past the wild card games, they're going to have like, those explosive games where they get into a shootout match with whoever they're up against.
Yeah.
But then they're gonna lose the game like they did last night.
I feel with this loss, I've always had throughout the season. I've had them in my top 5 with the way their defense has looked, shown flashes, with the way their offense is stacked from every position. They've always been a top 5 contender to win a Super Bowl in my eyes this year. This loss drops them out of that.
Yeah,
Still feel like the Buccaneers, the Arizona Cardinals, the Green Bay Packers, Tampa Bay, I already said the Bucs, the Rams. That's 4, and then I have the Ravens in there as well.
And the Giants, too.
The Giants are probably going to get the number 1 pick this year.
No, let's go to the Lions. Let's go to the Lions.
Yeah.
Should we move on to some F-POW, Neil?
Let's talk some fantasy pickups of the week.
Sound drop.
Now, we're not going to include any players that have already played this week in the
we're
late
not.
edition of Shoot Your Thought.
Okay, fair enough, because we can't really do that.
No, we can't pick them up and start them this week
That would
because
be
those games
cheating.
have already happened. So
That would be cheating.
some fantasy player pickups of the week that you can plug into your lineup this Sunday and Monday.
Mhm.
You want to take us away, Josh?
Yeah, I can start for sure. This is going to pain me. This is literally going to cause me pain, cause me physical and emotional pain. Go out and get Kenny Golladay. Go out and get him.
Kenny G?
Kenny G. Go out and get the Saxman himself.
I want to hear this.
Kadarius Toney is out for the game. Sterling Shepard is out for the game. Kenny Golladay will be... Kenny Golladay and Evan Ingram. Obviously, you're going to see some Saquon Barkley targets. But Kenny Golladay is going to have to be the player they signed this offseason. He has to be that player because they don't have their other options. They've got some other injuries as well. Their offensive, they just got Andrew Thomas back, their first round pick from 2 years ago, who was part of the offensive line. And so I go pick him up. If you're in dire need of a flex option, he's going up against Philly. It's going to be a divisional matchup, so you're going to see tempers flare. You're going to see fast-paced offenses on both sides. I think he only had 2 targets last week, which is just laughable. But those targets were swallowed up by Kadarius Toney, and Kadarius Toney is not playing this week. So go out and get Kenny Golladay.
Kenny G back in the fold.
As soon as that game starts, I'm gonna be like, why did I make it my fantasy pick? Why did I do that to myself?
It's going to be fantastic. My pickup of the week is Nick Westbrook-Ikine. News came out this afternoon that the last man standing in the Tennessee offense, the 8-3 Tennessee Titans, first place Tennessee Titans, have no options left. No one is left. Derrick Henry injured, Julio Jones injured, AJ Brown injured. Nick Westbrook-Ikine is the last man standing in that offense in a game that they're probably going to have to throw a lot against the New England Patriots. New England is known to shut down number 1 options on teams.
Options, yeah.
I don't give a fuck because they have no idea who the number 1 option is going to be on this team of no options.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to be able to shut down Westbrook-Ikine. I think he'll get 2 touchdowns in this game. Go out and get him.
That's a good call. My second pickup of the week is...
He's only owned in 6% of leagues, so he's definitely available.
Well, yeah, because it's hard to search up his name, so nobody can find him.
True.
Logan Thomas is my second pickup of the week. He has not played for quite a while. He's designated to come back from the injured reserve. When he is fully healthy, he's arguably a top 5 tight end in the league when he's fully healthy. Ricky Seals-Jones, who is the backup tight end for Washington, has kind of had his ups and downs. They're playing against Seattle this week. Logan Thomas is practicing in full. He should be back. Again, they're playing against Seattle, which is mediocre defense. So I think you can pick up Logan Thomas and plug him into your lineup if you're in need of a tight end, because good tight ends are few and far between. So if you're in need of a tight end, I think Logan Thomas is a safe option this week.
I like it. Lastly, I'm going to go with Zach Wilson of the New York Jets.
Ugh. Ugh. Are you serious?
Dead serious here.
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
Zach Wilson is...
How many quarterbacks are they going to use this year?
Since he's been out, this team has won games. They have won with backup quarterbacks like Joe Flacco and Mike White.
The Mike White era.
Zach Wilson is coming into a team that has developed, Michael Carter is way better now. He's seasoned. He's a top running back in this league now.
I wouldn't go that far.
He is receiving presence on this team. He's doing well for a rookie. He's doing well.
Okay.
You have the emergence of their wideout, Moore. You have stellar play by the defense. I feel like this is the opportunity that we've been looking for like a rookie who was drafted in the top 3 breakout. And he's had his chance to, learn from his mistakes at the beginning of the year. I think we're going to see better play from Zach Wilson coming out here. If he's available and you're only, again, I'm only recommending this in your flex leagues or in 2 QB leagues. Please do not make him your only starter if you're in a 1 QB league. Go out and get him, Zach Wilson. He deserves to be on your team.
The thing is, Zach Wilson has a decent receiving core too.
Yeah, I think he's going to turn it around.
I don't know. This has been a very, very hesitant F-POW for us. I said fucking Kenny Galladay.
And I said Zach Wilson.
Oh boy.
Don't listen to us anymore. We have no idea what we're talking about.
Who knows if we're going to make the playoffs in our leagues.
Yeah.
We'll see about that. Yeah, the sirens are outside coming to pick us up. Put us on a fucking sideboard. That is our show. Thank you so much for listening to this Black Friday edition of Shoot Your Thought. My name is Josh.
Have a good week, guys.
My name is Josh. Have a good week, guys.